All right, it is time for Friday Reads. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. In my Friday Reads video, I share how my reading has been going, including what I finished, what I've started, and anything interesting about what I'm carrying over week to week. This week, I oddly don't have many starts, which is very unusual, but given I think my currently reading is like 37, maybe that's just fine. I have a couple of things that I started and finished, which is what we shall start with. So one of the finishes I had this week, and I'm super excited about this, is the Barnabus project by the Fan Brothers. This is an illustrated kids book about Barnabus, who is this elephant mouse, and he's under a, what would you call that? Like, in another context, it would be like a cake display container. I don't know. I'm sure that it's like a bell. Is it a... I don't know. Anyway, so Barnabas lives in this underground with other beings who are all sort of a little bit different. And they're actually, pretty much sort of like science experiments on making two animals into one. See, mouse plus elephant equals Barnabas. I saw this on Goodreads. Kay Kelly had marked it as given it a high rating, and I went to see if my library had it, and they did, so I was super excited about it. I love the artwork in it. I love the colors. I loved all the creatures. I think this would be a great puzzle. Of course, all these creatures in captivity aren't great. I love that. Not even sure what that is. But they're all failed projects. Oh no, they're all failures apparently. But they're not, because they're awesome. And so, of course, there's an adventure, and they have to stick together and not be so sad as Barnabas is, and that I don't want to give the story away. I just want to see if... the pictures are so cute. So very cute. And, yeah, so it was a great story. I enjoyed it. I read it in one sitting. I finished it. I finished the book. So I'm really excited. This was so much fun, and I love kids' books. I think I want to make sure I read... I read a fair amount of kids' books anyway, but I want to make sure I'm reading illustrated kids' books, and I don't know the best, often if I'm going to the physical library, I'll just randomly pick stuff, and there are lots available on Overdrive, but it's where do you start? So I think maybe I need to get a list to work through. Often good lists are best of the year, but for me, because... there's always so many other people wanting all the titles, I think maybe I should find the best of 2017 or something, because that might have more availability. So anyway, do you have any lists that you follow for kids books, especially sort of this age or style, like picture books? Because I love them, and I think for me, reading one a week or something totally, honestly, it makes me so happy. So I think I just need to actively add that to the roster, even though it is something that I often do. It might be good to have some lists to work through, because I certainly do not have enough lists. We all know that's not true. I have a lot of lists. Anyway, I like working through lists, and actually a kids book list would be a pretty easy one. Hopefully, we'll see. Anyway, so I finished that. I also finished another kids book, which was Babymouse Rockstar by Jennifer L. Holm and Matthew Holm, which are a brother-sister team. I've mentioned Babymouse before. I didn't have tons of options for what to share on what I finished. So Rockstar is book, it says here, book number 4. And in this one, Babymouse wants to try out for band. And but doesn't want to be last flute like she was last time, because there were so many people that choose flute. There's I think first, second, third, and fourth, and last, maybe, or maybe fourth is last. I can't remember. So it was another great Babymouse adventure. This one did not have her friends as much in it. Wilbur wasn't in it very much, and but it mostly focused on her. And I love, again, one of the things I love about Babymouse is that she sort of goes into her own imagination and becomes the star of every dream that she has, or every situation. She imagines her as, in this one, she imagines herself as a rock star star. She has a guitar here, but she plays flute in the work itself. So anyway, this is great. I've been working through this series pretty steadily. I've been getting a fair amount from both the physical library as well as through Overdrive. Overdrive doesn't have all of the titles. I don't know whether I want to make a push to try and finish the series by the end of the year, or at least get all of the physical titles by the time I'm by the end of the summer, and then just more slowly work through the ones that are available digitally. They do tend to have a fair amount of holds, so I'm reading them slightly out of sequence, also because some are only at the physical library. So I don't know. I think I'd have to get. I think I have 3 waiting for me at the library on my next trip, but I think it might be 5 or 7 left, and that feels like a lot within 3 weeks. But then I would have to wait all year, or I could recommend them to the library. I can recommend 1 title a month. I'm not sure. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to burn my way through it. But it has been a really, really enjoyable series, and I like having a kids series on the go. So those are my very impressive finishes. Enjoyable, very enjoyable. And I haven't, so anyway, what have I been continuing? Well, you've never heard of it before, but Les Miserables. I'm actually doing okay with this one. I'm in last week I said I was in the 2nd section, but I'm in the 4th volume, which I'm not going to read. I actually do not know what this one's called. I'm going to wait till I'm done. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm getting pretty close to goal for, is that for the month? Oh my, I am not actually. Well, I have 40 pages left for this month that I'm going to be working on, and I'm a little behind this week, but I have been continuing to read it. I also have been continuing to read, this one hasn't come up before, but I've also been reading this Bradbury on stage. Wow, I don't even know if that's a real word. Chrestomathy. Wow. Chrestomathy? Not sure about that one. Of his plays. It's a collection. So I have read about 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 1 short one, and then it switches. It looks like it's a collection of collections of his plays, and I really like read Bradbury. I'm working through his works. I'm not going to say I'm going to try and read everything because there's just too much, but to be honest, I haven't been enjoying this as much as I expected. The section that I'm reading is a collection that are all set in Ireland, and I know that he did go to Ireland, I think, to write something about Moby Dick or something, there's another nonfiction work about that trip, and I kind of feel like I'm getting a little spoiled on that, because although the plays that I've been reading, and they're mostly 1 act, more some of them are more extended scenes kind of situations, they're only very lightly speculative. There is there's usually a speculative element, but mostly it's people in a bar. That's mostly, I think the setting for all of them has been people in a bar, or mostly at a bar, or coming home from the bar. So that's really the running theme of the set that I'm in. And so I have 1 more for that, and then it will switch hopefully to something else. So, and I do want to read that nonfiction work. I can't remember what it was called. And it is available on Scribd. So I don't know if I'm getting myself spoiled for that, because I don't know if these are slightly based on his time there. But I don't find them as interesting or charming as a lot of what I've read. And again, when I was really reading The Illustrated Man, these ones, the female characters are either non-existent, or the bar owner's wife. Literally there was one where she didn't even have a name. It was the wife, or she did have a name, but they always referred to her as the wife. And I'm yeah, well, Kathleen, his wife. And that's the only female character was his wife. And they often, in the text, they just referred to her as the wife. Not even his wife, but his wife, it says his wife. Anyway, so that's not, I don't love that. And I know that these are, I don't know when this is read, I think it's usually the 50s, but I just find that frustrating, especially because I really enjoy sort of a lot of his speculative fiction, but most of them, it doesn't say, 60s, 70s, and 70s, so it's a little later. Yeah, so 63 is the collection that I'm reading right now. But so anyway, so I'm a little torn on that. I'm a little torn on should I just stick to the novels and the short story collections? I mean, because he has like lots of different kinds of works, right? Nonfiction, plays, everything. So I don't know. Anyway, so that's just a little frustrating. What else have I been reading? Have I been reading other things? Okay, one other thing that I've been reading that I've been quite enjoying is a nonfiction work. It's called The Four Tendencies, and it's by Gretchen Rubin, who wrote The Happiness Project and Happier at Home and the Outer Order, Inner Calm. And I read most of her works, and I actually realized I think this is the only nonfiction work that I haven't read of hers that's on this sort of idea of happiness or understanding yourself or the productivity, depending on how you slice it. She also has nonfiction that's based on like biographies, which is not something that I tend to read. So this one is really interesting. I had heard of the principles when I'm on her newsletter, and I'm a big fan. And so I know what of the four tendencies I am, and which is an upholder, which is someone who meets both outer and inner expectations. So if I have a commitment to someone else, I'm very likely to follow through. If I have a commitment to myself, I'm very likely to follow through. This is probably not a huge surprise, but there are different elements. I'll put a quiz if I can find a link to a quiz. I think there's one on our site. I'll put it down below. I would love to hear what tendency you are. There are four, so I'm an upholder. There's also maybe I won't say. Shall I say what they are? Okay, I probably am. I'm in the middle of this, so I'll talk about it again when I finish it, and I won't go into too much about the other tendencies because I don't want to influence anyone. But a lot of this kind of work is about trying to figure out who you are and then how you can use that to make sure you achieve the things that you want in life. A lot or I don't know, the more you know yourself, the more I think grounded you are in the decisions you make, the approach you take, and your philosophy on life. So, and I have a pretty good sense of myself through many different, these types of things. But I thought it might be interesting to read this one because she not only talks about what it's like to be each of the four tendencies, but also what it's like to relate to people of other tendencies. And I definitely know that sometimes I can be a little frustrated because I am good at setting my own goals and working towards them, and I don't need someone else to tell me to do it, or I get satisfaction from doing it as opposed to resisting it and those kinds of things. So I know myself, but I also thought it might be interesting to read about the other tendencies and the challenges and that they face through them and how to support them, as well as the things that are great about them and the different ways that they relate to things and how they see the world. So initially I wasn't going to read it because I was like, oh yeah, I'm an upholder, yeah, that's it. And then I'm like, oh wow, no, there's still a lot to learn about the other tendencies as well and how they move through the world and how to work well and relate to them as well. So I have been enjoying it. I am a fair amount through it. I'm in the middle of the third of the four tendencies, or 3 out of 4. They're not numbered, they're in an order, but whatever. Anyway, so it's interesting to see, and I have been enjoying it, and I'm glad because I for some reason I didn't think to read this one, but I have been getting a lot from it. So that's been really, really great. And is that it? Then I have Les Mis upcoming. Honestly, I don't feel like, all that being said, I mean, I think one of the things that's really strange that's been going on is that I haven't been reading as much, I didn't mean to go here yet, but oh well, we're here. So yeah, so I found myself a little frustrated with my reading, to be honest. There's a lot of days where I sort of miss my regularly scheduled reading time. It's not necessarily scheduled, but and so I'm not making a lot of progress, and I'm finding that more frustrating because this is the time of year where I go to the library, so I'm in between trips. I'm actually going today, and the amount of things I didn't finish and had to renew was, I think, the same as the amount of titles I finished. So I don't know, is that good? It's not as good as the last time. And I just feel, I don't know, like, and I think I had said to myself at some point that I wanted to get a little less goal focused so that I could enjoy the library. Because halfway through the month, I think I realized, or was it in June? At some point I realized if I focus so strongly on trying to achieve some of my annual goals, I will miss the opportunity of being able to enjoy the library. So I shifted gears, I put a lot of things on the back burner, and I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy the library. Well, enjoy the library is quite vague. You know what I mean? Like, am I enjoying this? Am I enjoying? And you can't always force enjoyment. You know what I mean? So I'm finding, and I am someone who likes goals because I'm an upholder, and so trying to like tell myself to enjoy something is like it's good and it's bad. I don't know. I feel like maybe there's just a lot of other stuff going on right now, and reading is just sort of backburnered, and it kind of sucks that that's at the same time as the library, and sometimes that happens, and just let it go. So there's sort of that very likely probability to it, but then there's also a feeling of that not having goals does not make things more enjoyable for me. So just letting myself read library books and whatever is not enough structure for me. So if I have a goal of like, I want to finish 50% of my library books, or 3 books every week, or 1 book every week, it doesn't have to be about like volume, but volume numbers gives me something to go for. It's finite. I know that I have completed it. Enjoying the library is a little more vague, and I feel like, because I think right now I'm 10 of the books I'm currently reading are things that I think there's there's some special situations, but there's 3 books from the library that I've started and have been working on theoretically this week. And I've only actually actively been reading 1 of them. But overall, there's 10 books I've started from the library that I haven't finished. I'm pretty sure on that number. And I've only been actively reading 1. I'm like, that makes no sense. So I don't know. I think I need to shift to a different goal or a different perspective, because it's a little too nebulous. I am not necessarily a mood reader, and I thought I would try it, and I am failing. And it's not totally true, because like honestly, like, but is one read a mood read? I don't know. This was a goal. I saw it. It looks good. I was excited to see that Kate Kelly really liked it. I wanted to check it out for myself. So it wasn't a random pick. I placed a hold for it. So like it's not. And there is that thing about like know yourself, like in the 4 Tendencies. Like I do feel like not having goals I feel ungrounded. So I think having something, even if it's very easy to achieve, or I don't know what I'm still in it, so I can't quite figure out what to do. So hopefully something will come to me for that, because I am woefully behind on my goals this month. I was shocked when I looked up how my goals were going this month. And there's only 1 week left, like in terms of, and that last week will be Grinchathon. So, but yeah, I have the amount of goals I've finished this month are 1/3 of my average for the year. So if I normally get 30 done a month, I only have had completed 10. Now, those aren't the actual numbers, but they're close, actually. If you double them, then they're close. Now, I have done extremely well on my goals throughout the entire year. But last year in the summer, I did amazing at my goals because I was reading from the library and I was reading things for goals. And I don't know what happened. Like, a bunch of my library books are for goals. I'm just not finishing a lot. So I am definitely struggling. And so I guess having going freeform is neither successful and it's not relaxing. I continually feel like I am floundering, and that is just like, it's kind of weird because whether or not I hit my reading goals is something I strive for, but it's also not something where there's a huge consequence if I don't make it. But I do feel like there is the confidence, there is the result of confidence if I do make it, you know what I mean? Like, so, and a lot of people just, don't worry about it and just start again or just change things up. And I did change things up this month or last month, and has not been working. As I said, it might just be a tough time, so I'm just not, it doesn't matter what I set myself, Anyway, so, but for the near future, we have Grinchathon for the last month, the last week of July. But in August, where I have my next set of library holds will be like in, and part of them I'll read for Grinchathon, and part of them I will read in August, and then I'll have one trip in August, I think. Is that true? I think I have one trip in August, and that'll be my last trip. So I do want to feel, I guess by the end of Grinchathon or by August, I do want to have a sense of how I want to approach the month in terms of my reading. And, I might be successful or not on it, but having something to work towards is helpful for me as a person, as a reader. But this week is going to be all about Grinchathon. I'm super excited about it. It's a readathon created and hosted by Izzy, Punkrockgirlpa. Grinchathon runs from the 24th to the 31st. There are eight prompts, and I am really looking forward to it. I don't have my TBR set quite just yet. I don't know if this is going to go up before or after my Grinchathon TBR. It depends on how things land. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I am going to probably look at the library shelves to pick out some additional titles. Now I'm wondering if I should just really pick a lot of really, really short things. That's usually what I do for Grinchathon. But it'll probably be a combination of continuing on some things and starting new things. And there's one title in particular I know I'm going to read. But I have to get my holds and look at the books and see, because some of them might be really good for certain prompts and some of them might not in terms of how long they are. You don't have to finish things. You don't have to start, you can continue things you've already read. You can start new things and not finishing. All of the reading counts for Grinchathon, and the prompts are just there to help guide you. But you can completely ignore them. You can double up, triple up. You can do whatever you want. The whole point is just to read together, and I'm really looking forward to it. There are also Instagram challenges, which you can find in Izzy's announcement video, which I will link down below. So I am in this weird space of feeling like I've not been really successful, but I'm super excited about Grinchathon. I have no idea if I will complete any more goals during Grinchathon. If I don't, honest to goodness, this will be the lowest amount of goals I have gotten in all year, including January, which is before I even super set my goals. So, and I don't know whether I should just be fine, whatever, it's a crap month, and just be start up again in August, you know what I mean? And just see how things go from there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but hopefully I'll figure it out. Let me know what happens when you sort of feel like your goals aren't matching your I don't know what the right way to phrase it is. I feel like my goals aren't matching my energy, or maybe I just tried to go mood read freeform and that just doesn't work for me. I'm not sure. So I will hopefully figure something out and make a decision. I did make a decision to let myself just read whatever, and I think that doesn't work for me. It could just be the time, but I think honestly it probably just doesn't work for me. So anyway, let me know, do you try to take on a different reading style? Have you ever been successful at it? Is it nice to have a break, a different rhythm throughout the year? I thought that might be nice, but I'm not feeling like it's feeling more stressful, not less stressful. So, and I don't know if that is the reading choices or just life in general. I don't know. Anyway, that is all I have for my Friday reads. I would like to say thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes, because I did do the birthday book tag, and this is probably going up the day before my birthday. My birthday is on Saturday, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really excited about it. I'm a Leo, and I don't know, its birthdays are always fun. So thank you for everyone for the birthday wishes. If you haven't seen the birthday tag, I will leave it up. I will leave it in the end cards. We're getting close to the end here, so of the video. So yeah, and it was a fun one to do. And if you have a birthday in the near future or any time of year, it's a great one to do for your birthday. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, so that is my Friday Friday reads. That's how my reading has been going, which has been a little rocky, to be honest. But I got some finishes in, some continues in, and yeah, that's, and didn't really start as much, which is unusual. Maybe that's where the problem is. Maybe I should start more. That would be really hilarious if that's what was going on. Oh my gosh, I can't. I don't want to get to 40 on my currently reading. There are limits. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with another video. My Grinchathon TBR either is already up or will be going up the day after this one. And it's the Grinchathon starts on Sunday. Let me know if you're participating. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, thank you so much for watching.